Right. Hey everyone, it's Justin with the Pirrie Group. I am here to bring you our latest monthly market update for June 2023, and it's an update about the Southern California real estate market as I see it right now. I want to open up, I want to talk about some challenges we've faced in the recent past. Now, in 2008, there was a housing crisis, and in 2020, there was a pandemic. Together, we've overcome them and we've helped our economy bounce back strongly. Definitely a lot better than anyone could ever have predicted at the time. Now we are in a changing market. I'm going to refer to it as a kinetic market. And those of you out there that kind of really appreciate what that word means coming from a veteran, this is kinetic right now. There's a lot changes on a regular basis and it's fast, and we have to be able to move with it and pivot regularly to stay on top. But I would say this, and it's very important that you don't take a negative connotation from that. It's causing a lot of confusion, but it's not as difficult as it was in 2008. It's not as difficult as it was in 2020. And it's important to address some uncertainties for you, the home buyers and sellers, and people who want to understand this market. Now, one topic that is very much intrinsically linked to this is mortgage rates, and it causes people to become perplexed in so many ways. Now, many have tried to predict the direction. Right now, I don't want to make a prediction in this video. I just want to explain why they're currently so high. So for over the last 50 years, there's been a spread between the 10-year Treasury yield and the mortgage rate. This spread, set by the banking industry, it determines their profits. Now, historically, the average spread is around 1.72%. However, this year, we've absolutely exceeded that number. Mortgage rates started 1 point above the average and have now risen by over 3% points. So understanding that significant increase in mortgage rates is crucial, as it can help alleviate a lot of confusion amongst you guys and everybody in general. So let's first talk about mortgage rates. They are currently higher than expected, and certainly higher than we would ever expect them to be. And there's a gentleman, and I'm going to butcher his name. His name is George Ratiu, and he is the chief economist at KCM, which is Keeping Current Matters, which is a real estate centralized information. So it's like a blog that gives a lot of really well referenced information. And the spread between the 10-year Treasury lead and yield, and the mortgage rate has exceeded 300 basis points. A rarity seen only during periods of high inflation or economic volatility. Now, visualizing this, we're experiencing one of those rare times when the spread is over 3, resulting in very high mortgage rates. And I'm going to butcher this gentleman's name as well. Odetta Kushi, Deputy Chief Economist of First American. He suggests that rates may retreat in the second half of the year if the Fed eases money tightening. That's crucial. If they let go of some of that tightening of the money that's out there, it should allow the banks to make more money, which means they're going to change that basis point amount, that spread amount rather. Now, the spread is unlikely to return to the historic average of 170 basis points, but at least some relief is going to help. Now, currently, the 10-year Treasury yield stands at 3.65%. And if we had a normal spread, mortgage rates would be around 5.37%, but they're much higher. In many cases, touching 7, and I do see mortgage rates starting with a 7. So even a modest decrease in that spread would bring the rate below 6%. Potentially that triggers a market frenzy. All the buyers come back to the market. There's not enough inventory. It's going to go back to being a very hot seller's market the way it was during the pandemic. Now, it's important to understand that if that monetary tightening happens, or the release of the monetary tightening, it's going to provide some relief. And it's really, really important that that is understood and that there is a strong possibility that's going to happen. And that leads on to another point, and mortgage rates tie into the idea of homeownership, and I want to emphasize the significance of homeownership. It's a cornerstone of the American dream. It's crucial to understand that owning a home is considered more important than many other milestones in your life, like retirement, a successful career, or even a college degree. And the American dream is built on home ownership, the ownership of land, the ownership of your own home. The majority of us believe in its importance. And according to the recent Media Consumer Insights report, 78% of Americans associate home ownership with the American dream. So don't let anyone tell you otherwise. The numbers speak for themselves. people want to own homes. Now, let's address the misconception that young people, and when I say young people, I mean my age and younger, are primarily interested in renting. I'm 40, by the way. I know I look 25. I assure you, I feel 25. I'm not. I'm nearly 40. So the truth is, the Consumer Insight report reveals that 68% of millennials, I am just a millennial, and Gen Z individuals, we view real estate as a smart financial decision. Additionally, 43% of that younger generation, my generation and younger, recognize the value of real estate as a long-term investment. So when somebody questions these facts and they start saying, oh, they just want to eat avocado toast and they just want to rent, that's not true. The numbers are out there that that's not the case. And, you know, it certainly was always a lifelong dream of mine to own a home. And most of my friends and colleagues, you know, all they've ever really wanted to do is own their own piece of the dream, right? Now, Gallup conducts an annual survey of Americans, and I'm just going to labor this point a little bit. And it's a survey of Americans' opinions of the best long-term investments. And even in these challenging times, with the high interest rates and high payments, real estate has consistently been voted as the best long-term investment for the last 11 consecutive years. It surpasses even gold, which is currently experiencing a massive surge due to recession fears. The reason for that is when there's a recession, people lose faith in cash. So they start to put it into less volatile assets. And that's why they do that. And that reaffirms the enduring faith Americans have in home ownership. What you sell, they want to buy. What you want to buy, people can sell. It is very important that that is understood. There is always going to be a housing market. People need to live places. Right. Now, we can't ignore negative headlines that emerged last fall. Those headlines predicted another housing crash reminiscent of 2008. Now, those forecasts turned out to be false. It did not have an impact on the market the way they said it was going to. However, it did have a massive impact on consumer sentiment. And in December, the percentage of Americans anticipating price drops over the next 12 months, it reached a record high of 37%, which is massive. It's over a third. And that was fueled by a lot of these negative headlines. Now, as we entered this year, the resilience of the real estate market became really, really apparent. It didn't crash, it didn't falter as predicted, and in fact, it's proven remarkably resilient. And as a result, the number of Americans expecting the price decline has decreased to 31% in March. And we do anticipate further improvements because those prices aren't doing this up and down deal. They're staying relatively stable at this point. And I just want to kind of touch on home prices a little bit and uncover the truth behind these numbers. Let's address a misconception regarding a thing called median home prices. It's a very strange subject and it's very market specific. However, for us, this is everything I tell you is going to relate directly to Southern California. There's a misconception regarding median home prices. In this volatile market, this kinetic market, we're relying on median home prices. It can be misleading and it holds very little importance in my opinion. And the median price reported by NAR, Redfin, other companies is the quickest number to obtain, but it fails to accurately reflect the real estate market's dynamics, which can be hyper local to unit, to neighborhoods and everything else, subdivisions. And it's very important that just because the average price, in Imperial County is $260 per square foot, that doesn't mean that a home can't be $150 per square foot, and it can't mean a home can be $400 per square foot. It's just a median. And there's a gentleman out there called Bill McBride. He works for a company called Calculated Risk, and he previously promoted median prices as a really useful metric, and he recently stated that median prices are distorted by the mix of sales. And if depending on how the data is brought and formatted, it can be very misleading. And it's important to understand that one 3-bedroom house is not the same as another 3-bedroom house, and one two-bedroom condo is not the same as another two-bedroom condo. So it's very important that we just kind of, every home is different, and that's what we do. We find those comps, we go out and we research and we get the most accurate value we can give you for your property. And that's a very different tool than using, something that just gives you an approximation using the median home sold price in your area. Now, I think what is more useful is repeat sales indexes like Case-Shiller, FHFA, and they provide more reliable data by measuring actual price movements. And the median sales price represents the middle price of homes sold, but it's not such a reliable indicator of the appreciation. And if lower priced homes make up a large portion of recent sales, the median price will decline, even if each individual's home's value is generally increasing. So the situation we're facing in our market, more lower priced homes are being sold, causing the median price to decrease. However, the actual prices, the actual value of homes is going up. Now, it's a little bit of a mind boggle, right? So I want to make this easier to understand, and I want to use a simple analogy. So imagine right now you go in your pocket and you've got 3 coins, a nickel and 2 dimes. If you line them up in ascending value, so a line with your nickel and 2 dimes, the median value would be 10 cents, the middle dime. But if you had 2 nickels and 1 dime, the median value would be 5 cents, the middle nickel. The value of each coin remains the same, but the composition of the coins in your pocket changes the median value. Similarly, in today's housing market, we're selling more lower priced homes, more affordable homes, which drives down the median price. However, this doesn't accurately reflect the value of each home out there. Now, I do just want to talk a little bit on the measurement of home price movements, and I want to focus on that. Last fall, there were predictions of these significant price declines. Everything from 5 to 10%, 15 to 20, and in some cases I was hearing 20 to 25%. Now, these projections create doubts and affected sellers and buyers everywhere. The reality of this is far from those alarming headlines, and according to Case-Shiller, which has a lagging but accurate index, we witnessed a strong start in 2022, followed by a dip in July 2022, which was due to the rise in interest rates and concerns of increased listings from people that were trying to get out from houses that they could no longer afford. That wasn't the case. Negative headlines emerged, causing some very strong pricing decreases. But the worst month was August, and since then prices have been stabilizing, with the most recent Case-Shiller data as well as reports from FHFA and CoreLogic all indicating the same trend, which is a rough second half of last year followed by stabilization and recovery. Now, the 3 most reputable home price indexes confirm that it was a strong first half of 2022, a challenging second half, and now we're on our way back. While we can't predict the future with certainty, we're confident that the market isn't going to experience such a dramatic decline of 20 to 25% that was once feared. In fact, we might end this year on a positive note and actually start to see price increases again. When I say price increases, I'm not talking about small kind of adjustments, due to remodels or anything else. I'm talking about general appreciation in the market. So we're definitely in that position where things are moving in a very positive fashion already. Excuse me. Now, let's address Zillow. This is a real estate agent, a realtor's. It's got you'll see some opinions, and some people love it and some people don't like it. Professionals in the industry. I'm gonna sit on the fence. I'm not gonna say anything. It's worth noting that Zillow's data even aligns with the trends observed in other sources, and they are pretty good at producing trending data. And this indicates a strong first half of last year, followed by a decline in the second half, with subsequent recovery this year. Now, Fannie Mae, which provides quarterly data, echoes the same sentiment, and they report a great 2021, a strong first half of 2022, and a dip in the second half with an upward trend in the first quarter. But we are still waiting for the second quarter numbers to be released. So that's important. We're still waiting for the second quarter numbers to be released for us to say for certain this is what's happening. However, what I'm seeing in the market, what my colleagues are seeing in the market, what my guys are seeing, this is where we're at. things are coming back and we are expecting a strong finish to 2023. Now, I just want to kind of touch on a subject that maybe kind of it's difficult, and you know, I do use the word pandemic, but for the purpose of this, because I don't want to just keep saying it, because there's a lot of negative connotations associated with it. A lot of people out there did suffer a lot. There was a lot of pain. There was a lot of loss. It was a pretty horrible time. By modern standards, it's not something that would ever have been predicted, that was ever expected. And I want to, excuse me, separate the positive aspects of that strong housing market from those negative associations associated with it. So I would like to refer to it just for now as the unicorn years, the unicorn market. And I want to refer to that as the exceptional and the unprecedented market conditions from the second quarter of 2020 to the second quarter of 2022. And it's important when comparing current market conditions to those unicorn years. It's understandable that some indicators may appear less favourable. However, it is more appropriate to compare the current market to the more normal years before the unicorn years, the unicorn market. And when compared to these normal years, home appreciation, pending listings, buyer traffic, median days on market, and inventory are still relatively strong. Now, I'm gonna cycle through some graphics really quick. So, home price appreciation pre-unicorn years. Home prices did appreciate very well during the unicorn years. You can see there they were exceptionally out of the ranges of what would be expected, and you can see there is a normal appreciation kind of occurred in 2022, even with the challenges we faced. And all this data is sourced by Freddie Mac. Now, pending listings, again, I did touch on this a little bit. The listings were high compared to what was normally the case. However, it did appear that we had low inventory because there were just so many buyers in the market, and that there were many homes that were sold off market. There were many homes that were on the market for a number of days, if you know, at the most a number of days. In fact, I was seeing homes that were gone within 24 hours. I had homes that were gone within hours, with over appraisal value, cash over appraise and no inspections and all that kind of craziness from buyers. So it, like I said, these were exceptional times, exceptional circumstances, showing traffic. This shows you how many people were seeing, on average, the homes. Each home was seen by that many people. And you can see 2023, the recovery that we are starting to get. Although that number was exponentially higher, it's still very high. You know, there are still buyers in this market. There are still people willing to pay to buy homes. Median days on market, as you can see, before the unicorn period, the unicorn market, it was higher, it was double in most cases, and even now it's still not gone back to a normal level. Jeepers. I recently did one on the market. The day it went live to when it closed was 28 days. We did a 21-day close on it, and it was bang done, and they were gone. And we had a seller that was extremely happy, we had a buyer that was extremely happy. It's the market's still there, is what I'm saying. Now, this is important, and the homes for sale, compared to the pre-unicorn years, and it doesn't necessarily tie in with pending listings, because it's important that we understand that it's lower, but there were more homes selling, if that makes sense. So all of those, not necessarily all, but of those 447,000 homes in 2021, there was probably 95%, 98% of those homes sold, whereas the 927,000 in 2020, maybe 800,000 of them sold. And that's why there was so many more pending listings. There was that massive disconnect, because there wasn't necessarily people who wanted to buy the homes before that because of the interest rates and everything else. People were very keen to buy homes, and it almost became like a mad scramble to buy anything, and just get squared away with a home. Now, months of inventory, this is a super important thing, and this is the question I'm asked often, and this is the metrics, the matrices that I like to use to explain to people what is going on in the market. If people say to me, and this is a national figure, if people say to me, what is going on, I say, look at the months of inventory that are available. The months of inventory that are available make a massive difference to what's going on in the market. Now, if you've got 4, 5, 6 months of inventory available, there's lots of homes to see, there's less impetus, the sellers are in a less strong position, and the buyers are not so pushed. Whereas as it is right now, with less than 3 months of inventory, it just shows how little control buyers maybe have. And we do have some secret sauce for winning those offers and allowing the buyers to stay in control of what's going on. But it's very, you can see these numbers don't lie. It's very difficult to kind of, it's very difficult for it to be understood unless you've actually felt it in the market and you've been looking for a home, and the mounting frustration with it, we don't seem to get anything. This is the reason, the amount of inventory that's available. Now, the last one I kind of want to touch on is the foreclosures. And as you can see, during the unicorn market, there was just less, and that was the moratoriums and everything else, which kind of artificially, did that. Those numbers didn't spike massively though, because people weren't underwater in their mortgages. People weren't sitting in negative equity, and it's one of those things that I would like you to understand. There's not going to be this massive rush of listings coming back to the market, and we're going to be in this position, the position of months inventory. If we go back to 4 months within the next 3 years, I would be very surprised. But it's not a doom and gloom thing. It's a strong position for everybody, because the interest rates are going to come back. So everybody wins. So you probably understand that I feel I don't worry too much about what the headlines say, because I've got this data that I understand is true. And the problem of education and understanding exactly what's going on in the market, that's what I do. I want you to understand what we're getting into. And it's not necessarily the best place to get it, but the media and everything else, those headlines, what's on social media, see what we have to say about it, professionals in the industry. And that's what I'm asking, is that people go out of their way, don't just see what is being promulgated out there by non-industry professionals. You need to kind of understand what we're saying and how we're doing it. And it's also important to understand that we're comparing apples and oranges. The unicorn market, every year we had foreclosures in this country. People got sick, people couldn't pay their medical bills, people pass away, people get divorced, they lose their jobs, they can't afford to pay their mortgages anymore. And these are all things that produce listings. They're never going to stop, they're never going to go away. And the moratoriums affected those numbers, but it's still not going to stop. And just want you to understand, we're comparing a completely freak occurrence, a complete freak market, with something that's not our normal market. And I just want that to be really, really clear. Right, anyway, so I just want to wrap it up at that, because I think there's a lot of really good information there, and I think the majority of it came at that last bit, where I'm hoping we gained a little bit of a different perspective about the way it works. I just want to thank you for taking the time and bearing with me through the video. I really appreciate you watching these. I really appreciate that this can be a valuable resource for you, and I hope that the perspective and stuff that I can give you is correct, and you're happy, and I'm making it understandable. However, if it isn't, and you do just want to talk about it, maybe you want to talk a little bit more about it, I'm more than happy to do that. And you'll be able to find all my details and stuff on my social media here, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, all those places. Or you can just Google Justin Pirrie, Pirrie. You can call me direct. It's all good. Excuse me. I really look forward to speaking to you in the future. I really look forward to, engaging with you more and, making some more videos and getting this thing going. Hit subscribe if you want to get these every month. And we also do some kind of shorter update videos, usually 3-4 of those a week. So yeah, check us out. And thanks so much for taking the time to watch us. I'll see you around. Stay safe out there, folks.